So, with the release of Star Wars Episode 7, I like to talk about hype and how hype can warp your expectations and kind of like ruin something for you. I've previously talked about this when I believe it was before The Witcher 3 came out. I was kind of worried The Witcher 3 may end up to being a disappointment. I was kind of worried because you saw in the trailers the over time the graphics kind of changed, much like how with the development of Watch Dogs the graphics changed. But with Star Wars in particular, the hype is absolutely insane. There's nowhere you can go and not see Star Wars. I mean, I went to the toy aisle around Star Wars, and yeah, I like walk around the toy aisle in Star Wars because or I mean in Star Wars, yeah. I mean the toy aisle in Walmart because maybe I'm curious of what kids are playing with today, or sort of playing it because I'm have a wearying suspicion that kids are just playing on their tablets all day. But basically, there's the mask, like you see the lightsabers, the mask. Basically, it's like a Darth Vader helmet, but it's basically the mask of the new antagonist in the new movie. I forget his name, but anyways, the point is, I believe I'm about to see Star Wars tomorrow. I didn't want to like see it at launch, like the hype. I just want to stay away from it. The fandom just is just too crazy for me, and in my honest opinion, that's the one thing that kind of ruins Star Wars for me. I like Star Wars. It's just the fanboyism. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it fanboyism because I don't know how you can be so attached to something to the point where it's your life. I don't understand that. I mean, it's a great movie franchise and it's contributed to the history of film, but why would you get so hyped over something and ignore the chance of it being disappointing? Because from what I've heard, it's kind of that all I've heard is that it's good. It's just too similar to Episode 4, which I guess is fine because they need to prove to fans that they can do Star Wars right. They just needed to prove that we're not going to fuck it up. So if they do Episode 8 and it turns out to just be kind of a remake of Empire Strikes Back, then yeah, we'll have a problem. But yeah, so overall, it's just while the series of Star Wars it's great, and I think it's a lot better in other people's hands besides George Lucas because overall George Lucas has fucked up the prequels because I think the prequels could be better. When I watch Episode 3, which in my honest opinion, which is the only good Star Wars Star Wars movie in the prequel trilogy, is Episode 3 because I do like the story in that one. While there's still the shitty writing still, but I do like the origin story of Darth Vader, and I like seeing young Obi-Wan because I forget the guy's name who portrayed Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogy, but he did a pretty good job. He portrayed a more younger version of Obi-Wan very well. And Episode 7, I do have high hopes for, and I hope for the new trilogy. I hope Episode 8 and 9 turn out well, and I hope it can improve. I hope Episode 8 can be the great sequel, much like The Empire Strikes Back. Not exactly like Empire Strikes Back, but I hope it can be as good as a sequel as Empire Strikes Back while not repeating what the original trilogy did. And I hope this trilogy turns out to be very good. I didn't really have high hopes for the series when Disney closed LucasArts Entertainment, the development team that created the many great Star Wars games like Force Unleashed, Republic Commando, and I believe TIE Fighter. I think they developed that. They developed a lot of Star Wars games. It might have been a different developer, I don't know, but you can correct me on that. So, yeah. And, yeah. With the overall, my point is, hype can warp your expectations. I hope it's great, but you can't. It might not be good for me, but I'm just saying, like, the hype's too crazy for me. It just kind of ruins a movie for you. Like, why get so hyped over trailers when you can just go in blind? It's the same thing with E3. Why would you like watch a bunch of gameplay and trailers that make it look so fucking good, even though it would have been best just to first experience that but when you first play it. Anyways, my opinion is, that's my opinion. Anyway, my name's Traj, out.